What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up, folks?
And Bebo.
What's up?
Today we will be doing the awesome movie Demolition Man. Mikey, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
All right, so Demolition Man, starring Sylvester Stallone as John Spartan, Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix, also Sandra Bullock as Lenina Huxley. So this movie takes place 1993. Came out in 1993. I'm going to read the IMDb to kind of give you guys an idea of what was going on. So a police officer is brought out of suspended animation in prison to pursue an old, ultra-violent nemesis who is loose in a non-violent future society. It doesn't really do this movie justice. I like the fact there's a couple cool, interesting features about this entire movie, and not to kind of go into too much detail. But Sylvester Stallone gets basically he gets charged with blowing up a abandoned warehouse, chasing after Simon Phoenix, and they were looking for the help me with it. It was
they were looking for
it was a bus full of hostages that he was supposed to have taken.
30 of them.
Thank you.
30 of them.
Yes. So they said, they're not here, whatever. So they end up blowing up. Well, Simon Phoenix ends up blowing up the facility, and basically John Spartan really didn't care. He was just after Simon Phoenix. Come to find out, the hostages were in there, and he assumed it wasn't. He gets his name Demolition Man because he doesn't go into it thinking about anybody else other than himself. He ends up causing destruction everywhere. So he gets cryogenically freeze for 70 years and it was supposed to be longer, but he actually got woken up. So it started off 1996, Los Angeles, ended up 2032. So it was 70 years. He got woken up in 36 years.
I don't know. Math is hard.
It is very hard now. He got woken up 36 years later because his nemesis Simon Phoenix got woken up for his parole hearing and escaped. Okay, so therefore he's on the loose in a non-violent society, which I could never see this ever happening.
No.
Ever.
No.
Ever. No physical contact. They don't shake hands. They basically shake hands as hi. And it's not hi. It's the goodbyes are be well. So the terminology in 2032 has completely changed to anything less violence. So everything that was actually a violent society in the 2000s, so basically the 1990s, are non-existent, which I thought that was kind of interesting. So they thought that the 20th century was bad for everybody. So they completely changed the entire society after the 2010 earthquake that basically destroyed Los Angeles and made this city the new city called San Angeles, which now this is where this is based off. So this, to go into just a little more detail, there's a few things that always hit me kind of a funny. The show or movie, I'm sorry, is very, very comedic. With Wesley Snipes' character is a lot more comedic now than you would expect. You expect this to be a lot more action-packed, which it is. There's tons of fighting. It's a very entertaining movie. But the cars are self-driven cars. So we've talked about that in the past. This movie was shot in 92, 93, right? So who would have thought of self-driving cars back then? They thought about it. Now we have it now.
We got them now.
So we have self-driving cars now. Cruise control did exist back then, but it wasn't the same type thing. Similar concept, but not the same. But there wasn't any cursing. So you
Nope.
got fined half a credit to 1 credit for depending on what type of curse word it was.
Cigarettes, drugs, cigarettes, alcohol.
Basically, anything deemed bad for you was outlawed.
Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah.
Salt.
Caffeine.
Yeah, salt's bad. Yeah.
Caffeine. Yeah. So
kissing, sex.
Oh, who could go without that? I couldn't do the head thing. That's crazy. That's a thing that would probably be virtual reality.
Yeah.
They had virtual reality that they talked about there in that year, and we have virtual reality now. So there's a lot of cool different things that happened then that are actually that happens now, and we're only in 2021, and this was 11 more years. Will be in 2032. So I'd hate to see if we have an earthquake that makes San Angeles not Los Angeles.
The big one.
The big one in 2010.
My favorite thing about it is the fact that their oldie station was nothing but commercials.
Yeah. That's the most popular radio station is commercials, or what we could now call commercials.
What they call the oldie station.
Yeah, Oscar Mayer Wiener and welcome
to the Valley.
Yeah,
Valley of the Giant.
Jolly Green Giant, Jesus.
Oh, I love it. And that was in Taco Bell.
Yeah,
so
which was the only restaurant to survive the franchise war. The fact that they had a franchise war, I think, is what shocked me most in this entire movie.
Right.
And that was the funniest thing, because
the fact that Taco Bell won.
Really, Taco Bell? Come on, guys. But an interesting fact, and we might talk about it later, is that in in other countries, Taco Bell didn't really exist in like England or Germany when it got released overseas. So they used Pizza Hut instead of Taco Bell, which I thought was a pretty interesting fact that I'm sure everybody knows at this point.
No, I didn't know till recently, actually.
Wow, really? Yeah, that's cool. Another key character in this movie is Dennis Leary. So Dennis Leary was one of those up and coming comedians that was the fast talker in the car commercials back then. So he transposed that same character a little bit into what is called Edgar Friendly, which is his name in the show. So Edgar Friendly is a character that wants society to go back the way it used to be. So he is the revolutionary leader,
the free thinker,
yeah.
He's the free thinker
that basically says, I want salt, I want sugar, I want everything that's bad for your body. I want to be able to eat that burger and not be a rat burger that they actually eat down in the sewers. So so they're living underground. And they're
resistant, so to speak.
Yeah,
completely against what what the Cocteau Way stands for. So they start a revolution, trying to catch, starting to catch Simon Phoenix. So they all have to get together. Edgar Friendly's group of revolutionaries and the actual San Angeles Police Department have to get together in order to stop Simon Phoenix. So it's pretty cool. I'm not going to give away the ending if anybody hasn't watched this movie.
Yeah, spoiler alert! Come on now.
Spoiler alert! But he does foreshadow, and it's kind of funny at the beginning of the movie. He talks about keeping his head detached. If it wasn't attached, he'd lose his head if it wasn't attached.
Yeah.
So catch that at the beginning of the movie and find out what that means at the end of the movie. It's kind of funny. So either way, let's kind of go into what everybody thought about the movie. So Bevo, let me hear your thoughts and ideas on about this movie. But let's start into your trivia first. Let's go into that, and then we'll go into what you thought.
Okay, so just a few things here. Little side notes. Simon Phoenix, who, like we said, was played by Wesley Snipes. Sylvester Stallone originally wanted Simon Phoenix to be played by Jackie Chan instead of Wesley Snipes.
Well, that'd be weird.
Yeah, Chan declined, said since Asian audiences don't like the idea of actors who have always played heroes suddenly playing evil characters, was his reasoning for that. In the movie, Wesley Snipes had his hair dyed blonde for the movie, which he absolutely hated. And as soon as filming was completed, he did shave his head. But what's funny is that anybody who knows Dennis Rodman, the NBA player, always, colored his hair pretty much is what most people remember. And he actually did that inspired by Simon Phoenix. By
that makes
the
sense.
movie itself.
It makes a lot of sense.
That's cool.
They're almost like the same person.
What I do think's funny is that Sylvester Stallone described the cryogenic freezing scene that he had to do as probably the worst 5 hours he's ever had on movie sets. He said he was terrified during that scene, which I can understand when you actually watch that. I mean, he's enclosed in that thing as it's filling up with liquid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little freaky to me.
One thing, let me stop you real quick. I don't know if you pulled this one up, Chuck, but there is a replica of Sylvester Stallone's character in that cryogene was at Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, I remember seeing it
before they shut down Planet Hollywood in Orlando here. And I remember seeing that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I went probably the first year it was open. I think my parents took me there. And I loved it. I loved going in there and just seeing all the memorabilia they had. But I definitely remember that because I was like, oh, naked Stallone.
Me and my wife's first date was Planet Hollywood.
That explains a lot.
It does. That's a lot.
So Sandra Bullock's character that she played, she actually replaced Lori Petty after a few days of filming because Petty left due to creative differences. I feel like that would have been a much different movie with Lori Petty in the helm instead of Sandra Bullock.
It would have seemed like a good Simon Phoenix. That's probably what it'd be. A good Simon Phoenix. That's basically what Lori Petty would have played, the smart mouth.
Yeah, pretty much. The two original choices for the roles that they had were Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme to play the two main characters. Van Damme was offered the role of the bad guy, but didn't want that role. He agreed to star in it if both the lead roles could be switched. So the producers tried to get Seagal to play the bad guy, but he declined. So Seagal and Van Damme later played the bad guy in Seagal in Machete and Van Damme in The Expendables 2. Opposite Sylvester Stallone in both of those, who replaced him as the hero in this movie. Let's see. That's pretty much it. The only other one to note, and this is something that I've been upset about, and had I read this earlier, I wouldn't have had a little discussion with Mike here. So there's a scene in this movie where after being thawed out, Sylvester Stallone has to use the bathroom. And it's something that they didn't describe for years, and it's these damn 3 seashells where toilet paper was supposed to be. And Sylvester Stallone has stated in interviews that the idea behind the 3 seashells was that 2 were used like chopsticks or to clamp together to pull waste out of the body, and the 3rd was used to scrape what was left over. But no explanation was ever made on how they were used to clean or be sanitized between uses. And I remember when I first saw this movie, and what I love is it's like the last line in the movie is Sylvester Stallone asking Sandra Bullock's character, how the hell does the 3 seashells work?
Yeah.
And I remember that bothering me for like years. I just go, why don't they explain that? Why couldn't they explain that? As stupid as that part was, the fact that they never explained it and how he got around it, because he advises them that, they're out of toilet paper, and where there should be toilet paper, there's 3 seashells, and they all kind of laugh at him. And then he says some cuss word, and out comes a piece of paper saying you have been fined 1 credit for a violation of the verbal whatever. So he goes, excuse me,
Yeah.
walks over to the thing and just starts cussing over and over until all the paper spits out. And he goes, got it covered, and goes back into the bathroom.
Right.
But
So what
I
were your
love
thoughts on the movie itself?
the movie itself. I liked, especially for the time it came out. I thought it was kind of an interesting idea. You're in a society where pretty much evil, badness, and stuff like that's supposed to be wiped out. And then you have somebody who's one of the most prolific killers, from back in the day, get released. And how do you deal with that? Well, you thaw out a person who used to be a cop who knows how to deal with somebody like that.
Right.
So I thought the premise was interesting. I remember, when it first came out, watching it, I was always a fan of it. I'm still a fan of it. I'd still say I would recommend it to somebody even today. The action's good, the comedy's good in it. I'm not saying it's a 10 by any means, but it's definitely a good movie. So my rating on this, I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10 on this. I still think it plays well. I mean, there's some things that are kind of stupid in it, but for the most part, it's still enjoyable and it's still fun to watch. What about you, Kevin?
I enjoyed it. Like you said, the premise behind it, between the utopian society and then someone coming in and disrupting that, and bringing someone in who is used to it to fix it. That's a pretty good, standard trope. I enjoy it. I like the fact that he's a cop instead of like just some sort of, badass. I like the fact that he's always been a cop.
Yeah.
The action's great. The dialogue is okay. The dialogue is okay in the movie. The score of the movie sometimes threw me out, because the score of the movie sometimes would do that 80s poppy um, unrealistic type score, to where it kind of threw me out of the scene every once in a while. Like it would, when somebody would hit, it would do that, like it felt like a freaking kid's toy sound. That boom, like a bop it. It sounded like a fucking bop it. When somebody would hit. I didn't care for the score and some of the dialogue, but as far as a movie, the plot, the action, and everything, right on. I can overlook some of the score and dialogue because of that. I personally would give this movie an 8, simply because I enjoyed the humor, the action, and just the whole plot itself. It kept me invested, so I would give it an 8. How about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I'm on the same ballpark. The movie back then, I was young teenager when it came out, and to kind of have that idea of what the future could be like in 2032, we always wonder what if, right? So
Right.
now that we're in 2021, you're like, oh, well, we're past half of that already, almost all of it.
Yeah.
The humor was great. Wesley Snipes' character, to kind of bring that bad boy vibe into this society, to kind of stir up the ant pile, so to speak. I thought was good. Wesley Snipes as a bad character, he always plays a very good character, no matter what he did back in the 90s. And then Stallone always plays the good guy. Always has to play that character when it comes to that. So being typecasted is one thing. I like Sandra Bullock's character as well, that kind of naive cop that has no clue what's going on. Even Benjamin Bratt's character, turning from a goody two shoes cop to fucking A. He was a badass by the end of the show.
One hit in the head, and all of a sudden you think you're Pancho Villa.
Yeah. Who's that?
Exactly. Like, who's that? What? So I thought that was kind of cool, as there is a life other than this utopia that they've been kind of force fed into, that was supposed to be perfect. And it come to find out that the main person that made this area was also corrupt, and they wanted Simon Phoenix to kill him. So it comes down to where the action was great. comedic performance and some of the little quick quotes in there was good. And I just think entertaining. I definitely would tell this and recommend this to anybody because of the action, more or less, not because of the Taco Bell being the only franchise. Some of that kind of stuff was like far-fetched. And then the futuristic stuff that was happening was kind of over the top. But other than that, like you said, Kevin, you can kind of look past that part with the just the action alone. I think you can look past a lot of that small stuff. So I give it an 8.5, just because I enjoy the movie. I loved Wesley Snipes in the movie. I loved their chemistry between Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. It's a good cop, bad cop, basically. But it was great. So definitely an 8.5.
All right. Well, I now have the memorabilia of the movies. I can't remember what I named the thing, so I'm gonna say that memorabilia of the movie. We have a original Demolition Man 1993 39 by 55 Italian poster for $64. We have a 1990s Demolition Man 442 sports car toy by Mattel for $125. We have a Demolition Man Cryo Claw Tech action figure for $200. It's a generic action figure of like just a freaking random prisoner for $200. Like, freaking crazy.
Should have kept our toys.
Right. Then we have Demolition Man Super Nintendo, Super NES, new, factory sealed, good shape with some minor wear for $300.
And I played that game, and that was actually a decent game.
Yep. I have also played this, though. I have played this recently because there's a place in my town that has one of these. It is the Demolition Man pinball machine, $3,500. All these prices are on eBay. If you want any of these items for yourself, go ahead and look it up. I will not put the links in the info below. So I actually believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. Keep an eye out for our next movie, which I'm going to name now while everybody's on. It will be Highlander. The movie Highlander.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. We're done now.
This is our last episode. And,
so keep an eye out for our next episode for Highlander. For Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I'm the Bearded Geek saying keep it retro, everybody.
See you guys.
See you.